One thing I realize is, especially now, is how powerful a narrative is. A narrative can change the perception of an entire situation or scenario. If if you create a narrative in such a way where what actually is happening is viewed in a different way, then it's almost as if the situation itself can become something else than what it actually is, simply by changing the narrative to a situation or whatever, anything. And that's one thing I realized about just reality in general. Let me get my water real quick. Like, narratives are so important because narratives can completely change a person's belief system, what they believe, the actions that they take or don't take, you know, how they how they live their entire lives. If they have a certain narrative playing in the back of their mind, and then what they do can completely be altered or changed, via that narrative that's in their mind. And this is a theme that I've really been, you know, um, I guess you can say applying in my life, or becoming more and more aware of this idea of narratives. I'm gonna try not to make this video too long because I am at work and it's the beginning of my shift. It just hasn't gotten busy yet. Nobody's really here yet, so um, I make these little videos sometimes before my shift technically officially starts and people start coming in and signing in and stuff like that. It's kind of quiet right now and really early, so I don't think it's really a big deal. I'm not really hurting nothing. But anyway, but yeah, narratives, man. Narratives are so important in my opinion. And one thing I realized is most people in the world are trying to pull everyone else into a certain narrative. Usually it's their narrative, is how they want to see things, what they want to believe about their version of reality, and how things work and how things should be and how things actually are, and who you are in relation to them and relation to other people that they may know or see or perceive. Everybody's trying to pull you into their narrative of what they believe and perceive about reality, and that's fine because you know perception is how reality is experienced. You can't experience reality without first seeing it through a certain lens or in a certain way or through a certain belief system. If I wasn't able to perceive the outside world through, you know, um, light and sound and vibration via the brain and my senses, then there would really be no experience to really have. So, you know, perception is basically how we get to experience this, I guess you could say, dimension or this physical world, really any reality at all. Because I think perception, is very much tied into the non-physical realm too. It just works in a little bit different way, but it's all perception. It's a way of seeing and sensing, and so yeah. Uh, it's like one person saying you pronounce the word tomato, tomato. No, that's how you pronounce it. That's how you see it. That's what you believe about the pronunciation. You know, um, they say that the English language came from other languages. So we're basically speaking a bunch of other languages kind of mixed together and then calling it English. You know, it's crazy. It's crazy. But it goes back to the narrative. Are we, um, do we have, do we talk English or do we talk, other languages combined into what we label as English? It's all in how you look at it. It's all in how you see it. It's all in the narrative that you create about the thing itself or the subject. But I'm just talking about this whole narrative thing in the sense of, when it comes down to spirituality too, and these teachings and belief systems, and you know, um, and I was just talking about this in my other video, how I'm kind of letting go of the. I'm not letting go of spirituality because spirituality is in itself a concept, but I'm just letting go of the boxes that people that label themselves as spirituality put themselves into. You know, for one, this idea that it's about being positive all the time. I'm letting go of these ideas about, low vibration, high vibration, which again, I do believe these things exist in a certain context, but I don't feel like they work the way that people claim that they do. Like, because everything, a lot, I'm gonna say it this way. I've been just seeing a lot of contradiction, especially as of lately, with this whole spirituality thing, and, you know, human beings, they're gonna kind of twist things and interpret things again through their lens of perception based off of their experiences, and then put it in a box and say it's this is what it is. Let's call it spirituality. you know these higher truths. I'm gonna interpret it through my lens of perception, and then take my best stab at it of understanding it and defining it, and then say, okay, there it is. It's spirituality. These are the rules. This is how it works. This is what you do. This is what you don't do. This is good. This is bad. This is right. This is wrong. This is left. This is right. Spirituality in a box. And then that's what happened. And then everything outside of that box is seemingly, right or wrong, or negative or positive, or, if you don't do this, this is going to happen. If you do it. And I'm just like, and while I get it, because humans, we really can't help but to do these kind of things. We have to label things. We have to categorize them. We have to do our best to understand and define them. I get it. It's a human thing. It's a human thing. It's just what we do. We want to understand something. We want to understand the ununderstandable, the unknowable. And so, it's what we do. It's what we do. It's just that I've just gotten to the point to where I see things for what they really are. I see it for what it is. I see it for what it really is. It is a box, and a box with a bunch of narratives and ideas, and you know borders, and boundaries where you can, you can't, you can't, you can't. And I'm I'm in a lot of ways I'm just over it because I've just seen past. It's so hard to explain and put into words, man. Because I can feel what I know now better than I can express it. I can feel it, and I feel it on such a deep level, and it's so powerful, and I can't even express it the way that I want to because it's such a powerful thing. And hold on one second, y'all. I gotta sign this guy in. Hold on. I'm gonna pause for a second. All right. So I'm back, y'all. Sorry about that pause. I mean, y'all didn't experience a pause because y'all just I just paused the video for a second. But I had to sign this contractor in. But anyway, back to the video. So like I was saying, um I forget what I was saying, but I think I was saying something about how I'm just letting go a lot of, you know, stuff. And I think that's kind of the point of it. I think I wasn't wrong for going into diving into certain because I was meant to. And I was just meant to see that all of it, all of it is in. I'm not even necessarily even condemning this stuff because again, like I said in the other video, it's truth in a lot of it. It's just I see past it now, and I don't even I'm not even like talking down about anybody that still follows these things so deeply because like I said, I'm a guy. I've got tattoos. I've got a Om tattoo. I've got um the Buddha tattoo on my arm. Um, I've got the Merkaba on my right hand. A lot of these symbols and symbols and stuff that I very much still love and appreciate and still mean a lot to me. But it's just I feel like I have an even higher perspective or lens of perception now, and I see even these things that mean a lot to me still to this day. Ultimately, they were created by men, and humans are a concept. Humans aren't the totality of what the absolute is. Humans are just one possibility of a manifestation of something that is ultimately undefinable and um, no ultimate, no absolute definition or shape or form. It just it is infinite potentiality of potentiality, basically. That's the best way I can describe it. Infinite potentiality of potentiality. And humans just happen to be one of those, temporary manifestations that, that happen to form and, name or call itself human, and that's a concept. That's not what the absolute is. The absolute is undefinable, you know? So I say all that to say that um, beliefs, teachings, practices, nothing wrong with them. I'm not against them. Um, I'm not trying to tell people they shouldn't do it. I'm not trying to, look down on or belittle anything like that. Because like I said, I feel like all these things have their place on this path or this journey, this pathless path or journey to nowhere. Because ultimately, it's leading you nowhere. I think once you get, for me at least, I feel like this path is leading you nowhere. Will it bring you back to the divine, to the absolute? Yes and no. Yes, because everything is that, and everything always has been that. You just forgot that, so you basically re-realize that, and you basically realize what this is and always has been. And then you realize that you're that in there right now. But once you realize that, you also re-realize again that you can never fully understand this thing, and you're remembering that you can't define it and you can't understand it fully, you can just, constantly try to interpret it. But, to say that you'll ever be able to completely define or understand something like the absolute is, I don't know what to tell you. But it's fun. It's fun. It's fun to try to. It's fun to try to figure it out because it gives you something to do since you've been here as the absolute for all of eternity, trying to understand yourself and, everything that makes you you and, everything that you are. It's fun. It's interesting. It's extremely intriguing. And, you can do it for forever. And I think we have been trying to figure this whole existence thing out. What is it? Where did it come from? How did it happen? What is it? Or what the hell is it exactly? What is God? What is reality? What is existence? What are we even doing? And it's fun to try to figure it out because I think that what it is, is if it has the ability to be self-aware, it's probably like in its own way trying to figure out, well, what's going on? I just am. Existence just exists. And so it's asking that question through every living organism, you know, trying to figure out, like, how am I? Why am I? What am I? So anyway, I go back to say, narratives are kind of going for me of other people, of the quote unquote spirituality bots. Um, I just, people say you should think a certain way and do things a certain way and believe a certain way. But, you know, again, for me, this is a subjective thing. This is a very personalized experience. And no, everything is so black and white with the spiritual community. If you just do this thing, if you just, think like this, or, raise your vibration like this, or, have this kind of mindset, then, this is what you're doing wrong because you're not doing this, or you're not doing this technique, or you're not thinking positive like this. This is why your life's hard. This is why you're struggling in this area of your life. And I'm just like, oh God, bro, like, it's that simple, isn't it? It's really that simple. That's all I gotta do is just think more positive. Okay, well, that settles it. That's the whole problem, and that's why everything's not right. And clearly, I'm 36 years old or 37 years old. That's why I've been having a hard time, because I just wasn't thinking positively enough. I wasn't, being happy enough. I wasn't, I was had the wrong thoughts. That's the issue. 37 years. That's why I've been having these issues for 37 years. I just haven't been thinking positively enough. Well, fuck me. Thank you. Now I know what to do now. And again, man, I'm not saying that these things can't be true and aren't true sometimes. I do think that some people just, every single thing is just, bad and negative, and they can't see the good in anything. I do believe that this does happen, but I just don't believe that it's anybody and everybody that goes through stuff, hard times and struggles, is because they're just not trying hard enough, or they're just too negative. And I know what I'm saying. It's just, it gets to a point to where it's like, okay, y'all, at some point you got to recognize that it's just life too. Like, life ain't easy, and you got to recognize and say, like, this life shit is just hard. And then they say, oh well, nobody ever said it was going to be easy, and like, that's my point. But then we act like that it is easy. We'll say that, but then we act like it's easy. Just be positive. Just be nice, and then along the way, like, you don't mentally get fucked up in the head living this life. And you're supposed to just walk around here like, like a big ray of sunshine, where you're just trying to keep your mental together long enough to get to the next step, to the next stage of life. And I'm gonna be honest, like, the majority of life I feel like is spent working, trying to create a better life. Like the majority of our lives are spent working our asses off for money to create a better life. And I guess that's what living is, but I'm just realizing that a lot of it is spent. This is why like I'm no longer waiting until some point to, try to live and, be happy. I'm doing what I'm doing toward my goal, but I'm not this kind of guy that's like, okay, you just hustle and grind for like 20 years and then, once you've done the work, then you get your reward. I'm like, no, like I'm going to live my life now. And, when I reach it, because it's not even about the goal. Because if you live your life in that way, your entire life's going to pass you by and you're going to get this one little portion of life that supposedly is a reward for all your hard work. But then you're going to look back and think, oh my God, like I spent so many years just working my ass off just to maybe get a few years to enjoy it. Maybe if you're lucky. So, like now, like I said, I'm starting my second job again today. But I'm only doing this temporarily because I'm just doing this to get I'm trading my camper in, so I'm going to be working. I'm still working 7 days a week now. So it's like right now, it's like no days off because I'm just, I'm ready to get up out of here. I've been saying this for over a year now, and I did make some um progress, but I just decided to kind of do things differently. So, for me, it's going to be 7 days a week until I get this camper. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I know I can. So, like I said, I'm starting back a second job tonight. So I'll be doing that when I'm not working there. I'll be working overtime at this job right here because I'm just ready to I'm ready to leave. I'm just ready. I feel like, I spent the whole year and I did get some things accomplished, but, I was supposed to already be up out of here. And, I got into this relationship with this dumb bitch and she kind of distracted me and, kind of, wasted my time and energy. And so a lot of the shit that I was planning, I kind of thought me and her were going to kind of have our own life and do our own thing. And then she just kind of flipped the script and, you know, I don't know what the fuck that was even about. But anyway, it's over with. Whatever. But a lot of and I'm not gonna blame her because honestly, like, I blame myself for even, allow myself to get distracted. I should have been staying on my game and not letting no woman, distract me from what I want to do and what I had planned. But again, I thought that, I thought we had a future, but, I know now that we don't. Oh God, I don't even want to talk about it. It was horrible. It was fucking horrible the way that shit went. I'm just disappointed in this person's character, how it came out in the end, and just how fucking diabolical the shit was. I just ugh. I mean, listen, man. Here's the thing with that too. That whole thing. I don't give a fuck about a bitch going off with some other nigga. That's fine. I can get a bitch. I can get another bitch. But it's just the whole idea of, you know, becoming vulnerable with somebody and then seeing how they kind of do this bait and switch type of move where they kind of just transform into like this other person like out of nowhere, and it's just disgusting, man. Like, like this, like I say, this is why I can't really get with this whole spiritual narrative thing, because spirituality says anything and everything bad that happens to you is somehow your fault, your creation. Like when you come into this world, you're born, and then as soon as shit starts happening, people start bullying you, being mean to you. That's your fault. You did it somehow. It's your fault. You don't know how, but and this is why I don't really rock with a lot of the spiritual teachings anymore, because I don't believe that everything is your fault. I believe that some things are, and then some things I feel like are completely out of your control and had nothing to do with you. It's just life. Life is just chaotic. Life is just, random and unexpected chaos, and it just happens the way it happens. I don't believe that everything, because when you go through life thinking like that, man, you beat yourself up, and then it's this never ending pursuit of trying to, well, damn, why is this thing so happening? I've been working, I've been trying to, heal and do the trauma work and shit, and it's still happening. It's because it's not always you. It's just life. If you go through life thinking everything bad that happens to you, everything bad you created, oh my God, you're gonna lose it, because you cannot control everything. And if everything that happens to you is your fault, then what it's like, then you're never right. You're never positive enough. You're never, thankful enough. You know what I'm saying? It's just always something that you got to try to figure out, like, oh, how do I fix this? Or what do I do to make it better? How can I repair myself so that this thing doesn't keep happening to me, or I don't keep somehow manifesting or attracting it? And something always happens. It's always something else. It's always something to fix. It's always something to hit. And it just becomes like this maddening thing, like this fucking nightmare that just won't go away, you know? So this is, why I just can't, and it's and these things, these teachings and spirituality, they're taught about your love life and your money, your finance. Oh, if you keep having these problems in your love, it's because, now I do believe that I have definitely chosen the wrong woman in the past. Definitely, my last one was definitely, I 100% own up to that. Like, that woman showed me so many fucking red flags till it's ridiculous. And I'm this type of person where I really try to practice unconditional love, where it's like, I know you got trauma. I'm going to be here and work through you with it. And I'm going to be here and I'm going to prove to you that I will be here with you through your trauma and all of your messed up ways about how other men treated you. And I'm going to help fix you. And then you do that, and that's how I was thinking. I'm going to be that guy that shows you that he's not going to leave, and blah blah fucking blah. And it's just fucking stupid. I mean, this is, man, listen, some people you just can't fix. Like, I literally woke up to this girl. This is years. I've known her for years. I woke up to this woman one morning. Her eyes literally were not even human eyes. I'm not even, I swear to y'all, I'm not exaggerating this. I'm not exaggerating at all. I'm not trying to make this sound like more than what this is. Literally what I had this experience with the same woman. This happened years ago, like back in 2016, 17. I woke up with her in my trailer one morning, and I was looking at her, and her eyes, when I opened up my eyes and wake up that morning, she was facing me. Her eyes were like red, like red. They were not human eyes. When I tell y'all her eyes are not human eyes, they were not human eyes. And then I blinked, and then her eyes were closed again, and she was sleeping. That morning, I got up. I had like a big giant like burn. Well, not giant. It wasn't giant, but it was pretty big. Like it was a claw mark, but it was like not like a scratch. It was more like a burn looking type of claw mark. But that morning, I got in the mirror in the bathroom, and I noticed like a scratch across my face. But it wasn't bleeding or anything, but it was just like a burn, and it hadn't been there the day before, and it stood out. I know for a fact it wasn't there. So when I tell y'all I had a ton of red flags, I had a ton of red flags, and this was years ago. And this is how long I've known this girl. We broke up, got back together again, and that's just kind of. But now, like, I literally, after this shit right here, she's out of my life for good. I mean, what she showed me this time around, I know for a fact that this bitch is demonic and evil as fuck. Like, and we all have our demons, but like, she has not even balanced that shit out. And I told this bitch, I said, I'll never talk to you again. I said, you dead to me. And I fucking mean that shit. Because if you can treat somebody like me like that, oh, you tripping. You tripping. You big time tripping. So, sometimes you just can't forgive. You just can't, I mean, I forgive you for me, but will I ever fuck with you again? Like, our close relationship that we had, that shit is dead. That shit is dead. You can call it a soul tie, whatever you want to call it. Fuck that. I untied that bitch. That shit is done. I don't never want to ever meet somebody like that again in my entire life. Fuck that. I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn how close we is or how close we were. If you can treat me like that, nah, fuck that. Anyway, I'm gonna end this video here, y'all. Y'all take it easy.